go down a bit, and like at the very end, I still have nightmares for that day. So it's funny, we have somebody in the chat right now asking about the Switch 2 experience. You just missed an amazing speedrun by EDDAKAT, and the first thing out of everybody's mouth was like, this looks so much better, and it runs so much smoother, and which has been a really cool thing to see in the speedrunning community, being like, wait, are the doors opening up? Is there different routes to take? You know, how much time are we going to take out for these speedruns? So yeah, let us be the first ones to tell you this. It's been exponentially better when it comes to performance, and I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that, especially in the speedrunning community.
Yeah. Well, we should ask chat too, right? Like, I'm only asking Church, I'm only asking Thor. Like, you guys, where did you start with Nintendo? Like, what brings your love to Nintendo? Why are you so excited? And if you did get a Nintendo Switch, definitely tell us in chat. We want to know how you enjoyed it. EDDAKAT is just playing on his. Ant Online is dropping Nintendo Switch today. If you'd like to go to the website !Switch2 in chat, or go to antonline.com/Switch2. And then we just dropped it 45 minutes ago. I do not know if they've sold out. I do know a few of the bundles have, but if you missed out, we are dropping again today. I can't tell you specifically when, but there will be another drop for Switches. So if you haven't gotten yours, don't worry. We will have them on Ants Online.
Heck yeah. And what a time to be alive. Ants Online partnering up with Games Done Quick. It's been such a privilege and a pleasure being able to hang out with everybody today. Not only spreading the good vibes, you know, for a good cause, but also just being here with the community, right? So like I said, it's a dream come true for me. When I go to bed, I listen to either Warhammer or different lore videos, but also Games Done Quick. For me, it's the randomizers that I always enjoy with Games Done Quick. Kicking it old school with Dragon Warriors and just seeing the different speedrunners trying to get to that end goal there. And so, again, being a part of this has been a dream come true for me. So very much thank you for that, Games Done Quick, and of course, Ant Online.
Prime in chat is saying that SNES, because, you know, they're finally getting to answer, coming around to answering my questions. They're like, let me get up and talk to Lily. So we got Mega Man X.
Mega Man X. Lily, you do not know anything about it. What about Mega Man X? Talk to me about
it. He's an AI.
There we go. There it is. Yes, little Mega Man X.
Mega Man Informer.
I do throw down a little bit of Mega Man for sure. You know, he was just doing what he was programmed to do, saving lives for sure. For sure. By the way, do you say SNES? Is it SNES or is it SNES for you? Like how would you?
SNES.
There we go. There we go. Those crazy friends across the pond. What are you doing for sure?
Nintendo ever since Pokemon Crystal. Nintendo console was the lime green Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Like the one that looks like it's glowing.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm jealous. I had the purple transparent Nintendo Game Boy Color, and I still have it. It doesn't work, but maybe I could get it to work with all these new retro stores opening up in Atlanta.
Yeah. But again, it's so cool to see the Switch 2 coming out with those different emulators, being like, hey, did you miss Kirby Air Ride? Did you miss Twin Snakes? Did you miss some of those GameCube games? Custom Robo? Nobody in chat knows about the Custom Robos. I don't even want to hear it out of you guys. But I was a huge Nintendo GameCube fan. Phantasy Star Online. I'll need some Phantasy Star Online, Lily. Little mags, little protons. No.
Well, you know what? I'm actually surprised that nobody has touched on Smash.
Oh yeah.
Fun fact though, I used to run a lot of Smash tournaments.
You used to run a lot of Smash tournaments?
I was okay, so I would never participate in the tournament, but I would run those, and it was so much fun.
Who was your main? Who was your main?
Kirby.
Kirby?
But I really like Samus.
Okay.
And then just to mess around, I would do Pichu as well. What about you?
Link. It was kind of a Link, you know what I mean? But Super Smash Brothers on the 64 was my jam. I'm a little older, so, you know, I appreciated the GameCube, but for me, it was all about the 64. Good times.
If you think Dark Souls is hard, you never played Lion King on the SNES.
Omnitoast. See, I knew Omnitoast was a person of culture. Look at that, saying Phantasy Star Online episode 1 and 2.
Did you get it? I know you got the Switch, Toast. I know you got the Switch too. Tell me you got it.
Good times.
But yeah, I like Samus. Her paralyzer gun in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, I really used. But I really wanted to be really good with the ice climbers, but I never got there.
Well, maybe you can try again with the GameCube emulation coming.
I knew you would buy it. So Toast was like, I'm going to wait for payday, which is tomorrow. It came out today.
Looks like we got our speedrunner hanging out with us in chat today, Cloud.
It's Cloud.
I'm so excited to check out this Legend of Zelda speedrun. This is going to be, again, Lily and I have a fun dynamic here is because I'm old school. I don't look at all the 90s preservatives and those crazy foods they used to give us, keep me looking young. But I like the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I like the story of oracles, all that kind of stuff. And she's much a newer Legend of Zelda fan, so I'm excited to see the speed run and see where CLOUD takes us.
My first, I got Twilight Princess on the Wii U, but I didn't really dive into a game until Breath of the Wild, and I really wanted to get into Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom came out when so many games were just popping up rapidly for us, so I only played it for a week.
Yeah, nice. I see CLOUD's got some fans in there. Yo,
who's here to see CLOUD? Drop an emo if you're with the CLOUD clan.
CLOUD clan?
CLOUD group?
CLOUD group, yeah.
What's a group of clouds called?
A cumulus nimbus is what it's called.
Really? Did you just make that up, or are you that smart?
It just sounded right in my head. I'm going with it on twitch.tv/AntsOnline, the one-stop shop place to get all things tech. Again, if you're looking for a Switch 2, make sure you keep it peeled to here for the social media accounts, because they are keeping you up to date on when they're dropping the Switch 2. This has been a fun time, and I'm really glad that friends over SNK have been able to set us up. Congratulations to you making this happen, because good people, good games, it's all about what Ant Online is all about. So yeah.
We love gaming, and you can catch the newest games, the hottest tech, every single day of the week on twitch.tv/AntsOnline. Every day we have a streamer sharing the newest deals, the hottest deals, and even celebrating amazing things like the Nintendo 2 Switch dropping. This is never going to happen again. You realize that.
Until we come out with the Switch 3. But, I'm not.
That's when we're going to call it the Super Switch.
I agree with you. It should have been called the Super Switch. I'm there. I'm there. I'm starting the petition now for the Switch 3. Super Switch 3. Super Switch 3. Yeah, I'll take it for sure. For sure. Yeah, where do we go from here? We've got Kirby. We've got Legend of Zelda. We've got. I'm excited to see where the Switch 2 ends with their games, right? Because there's always a lot of hype when it comes to their launch titles, but if the PS3 or the PS2 was something to show, was that the titles at the end of the console launch are always some of the best, right? So it's cool to celebrate the launch of Switch 2 now, right? But where are we going to be in 5, 6, 7 years with the Switch 2? What is their opus?
They have already blown me out of the water watching Pokemon Scarlet with EDDAKAT. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. I want you guys, when you open that Nintendo Switch 2, I want you to plug, did anyone get a camera with theirs? Because I want to see what the camera's like. Because the Switch 2 has already been really fun. I love the idea of just walking around and being able to connect to someone else's animal, like Animal Crossing Island. And being able to play with them right away. That was so cool. I loved Animal Crossing, but now we have cameras that will be able to see each other.
There you have it, Chad. An open invitation. If you want to switch camera, Lily, just hit her up in Twitch chat. She's waiting. She's waiting for that friend code. I like it. I do
openly share my friend code with people.
I will say I do appreciate Nintendo kind of embracing that more online infrastructure, right? Because Nintendo has kind of always been online. Don't know about that, right? But with the intro of a camera, with the the friend codes and all that kind of stuff, it's great to see them kind of catching up to that and really kind of pushing that with this launch. So very, very excited.
Well, you know what was actually a very great game to launch on the Switch?
What?
Was Monster Hunter Rise.
Ooh.
It started off really good.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping they remake it for the Switch too, because that was the thing. It was a great multiplayer game. However, it was the things that we didn't appreciate about the Switch 1 that has now been updated, like the frames and the resolution. I can actually see monsters fly now.
Okay.
Without them stuttering across the screen.
Gotcha. And unfortunately, we have a viewer of ours named Cool Cat who said the Switch Lite should have been called the Light Switch.
Cool Cat, what are you? But he did mention Mario World.
Yeah.
And I would love to see some gameplay of that, if not jump in myself.
What about Wario World?
Super Mario Kart World.
But what about Wario?
Mario Kart World. You guys are putting words in my head, and now it's all over the place.
Did you ever play the Wario games back in the day?
Wario,
yeah.
No, he was the evil Mario to me.
He was, yeah, but he was so cool. He had a bike, and he was on the Game Boy. It was sick. It was a good time. Let's bring back Wario. Mario's had his time. We're bringing back Wario and Waluigi. That's what the Switch 2 should be about these days. Let's do it. I'm sorry for making you feel old. I love it. Yeah, we'll see. We've got that. I'm hoping Sonic and Chow's come to the Switch too. That'd be nice.
Dude, if they brought back Chow's, Chow could be a standalone game.
Yeah.
And I think I would really get into that.
Yeah, I would say if you had to choose one game that is very near and dear to you, what would you make it onto the Switch? Switch 2. What would be Harvest Moon. I heard the moon. I heard the Harvest Moon. That was a good one. That was a good one. Harvest Moon was an absolute banger. So we'll have to see if that pops up. I'm sure it will. With the Switch 2, 8 years is a long time for the Switch 1, and now Switch 2 is getting their time to shine. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be
says cool, Cat. So Omnitos is working on a cosplay right now. He's going to be doing
Wario?
No. You would be a great Wario. You realize that?
That's not true. That's
Wow,
just-
Luigi. Oh my gosh, the Haunted Mansion game, Luigi's Haunted Mansion,
Yeah, it
it's actually really great. I love it. It's like an introduction to Dark Souls for kids. It's a great game.
Yeah, RuneScape Switch chat sound off, but you're getting into it. What game would you like to go for the Switch to? I'm gonna be selfish here. I want to say a new callback to Star Fox. I think a really cool Star Fox 64, but like Switch 2, but a new iteration of that. That would get me excited. I would. I love the voice lines of like Fox, Fox, you made it. Bill, is that you? It's like, oh yeah, I love it. Absolutely.
What about you, Church? What game do you wish you saw on the Switch too?
Final Fantasy Tactics?
Final
That's
Fantasy
a lame answer,
we
but
go.
No,
also
you said that
just-
earlier for sure. But it was such a great game.
yeah. Just real quick, just to let you know, we are ready with the run whenever you all are.
Let's go. Okay, so guys, thank you again. We have partnered today with Games Done Quick here on Ants Online, and we're so excited to start the next speed run. So we're going to toss this over to Church. Thor, thank you so much for being here.
No worries.
Oh,
We'll be here at the end of the day.
Good luck, Cloud.
Yeah. I'm sure you're all aware, we're Games Done Quick. We are a charity speedrun marathon. We raise money for a bunch of different charities. We're showcasing some speedruns for y'all. Cloud, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you guys so much for having me on. So yeah, I'm Cloud. I speedrun primarily Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and I'm here with Games Done Quick to show off this run. We actually just got a brand new route for this category that I'll be running today, so it's got some pretty fun and goofy stuff to show off, so I hope you guys enjoy. And we can go ahead and count down and get started whenever if you guys are ready.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. I didn't know there was a new route, so I'm excited for this.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. All right, we'll go ahead and start then in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so the category we're going to be running today is called Any Percent. If you're not familiar with speedrun terminology, Any Percent just means beat the game from new game to end credits as fast as possible. And this is going to be unrestricted, meaning that there's going to be a lot of glitches. We're going to be doing a lot of things that you probably wouldn't anticipate seeing in a normal playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom. Now, the game is kind of designed like Breath of the Wild, so you can go straight to the final boss, like as soon as you get done with the tutorial. And we're going to be doing that and a lot more. So our first glitch is actually right here in the intro. We're going to attempt what's called a climb jump clip, which is a very precise setup to basically slip through the collision here. This might take a few tries, but it's worth going for until we get it, because this does save like over a minute of having to sit through a cutscene. So there we go, second try, something like that. And we're going to have to perform a series of jumps to get over these cutscene triggers.
And yeah, just in case there is
the movement
anybody.
here.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the movement here is a bit wacky, but we're just basically avoiding these cutscene triggers to stop Zelda from talking. I hate to say it, but Switch 2's got that new memories feature, so if you want to hear Zelda talk, you can go listen to that on your brand new Nintendo Switch 2 console.
But yeah, like if there's anybody in chat who isn't super familiar with speedruns, feel free to ask questions. We'll answer anything about speedrunning in general, the game or speedrun itself. Either of you in call with us have any questions, feel free to chime in at any time.
All right, so our reward for getting through that difficult section is we get to sit through a 4-minute long unskippable lore cutscene. They always say if you want to pick up, if you're gonna pick up speedrunning, and you want to have a lot of interaction with chat, run a Zelda game, because there's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of downtime for you to kind of just hang out and chat. So actually nowadays, the community has voted to allow a mod to skip the cutscene for runs, just because the start of the run is super punishing, and it feels kind of strange to just go back and sit through the entire thing over and over again whenever you fail one tiny trick. But before that we used to make our best of it. I've got a guitar over here next to me. We used to like play a little guitar during the cutscene and whatnot. So yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself being less interested in a speedrun if it was like, oh, I gotta reset and watch a 5-minute cutscene. Especially on such a short run, right?
So I've been running this game since basically right after launch, like May 2023, and I've had a world record in 6 different categories, I think, but most of them are longer. So I've never had world record in this category, which world record right now is just over 39 minutes. It's definitely a lot shorter than some of the other ones, which are like an hour plus, 2 hours plus. When you're running some of those longer categories, it doesn't matter quite as much because you're willing to take a little bit of time loss. But if you're running something like 90% and you gotta be super optimized and like every single portion of the run, it can get pretty reset heavy.
Especially in such a short, short game, relatively. Like, if your any percent was like 6 hours, then you'd be like, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, when it's 39 minutes, you're like, nah, I need that 4 frames that I lost.
Yeah, and it's not only that, but unlike Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom early game is not only hard, but also very punishing. Like, messing up a trick in the beginning of Breath of the Wild loses you like maybe 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. But the tricks here can lose you up to 40 seconds, up to anywhere from up to 3 minutes. It's basically a forced reset at any point along the way. And we'll explain why that is later, because this run's got some pretty cool stuff at the very beginning.
And I guess I should say, just in case there's anybody out there who is interested in speedrunning, when we talk about stuff like forced resets and stuff, we're talking about like on PB attempts, especially when you have lots and lots of practice. If you're just getting into speedrun, it's not a forced reset. Just finish the run. It's fine. You don't have to reset. It's mostly when people are going for that competitive edge to get the top times.
Yeah, especially at the world record level, competition can be pretty tough, trying to optimize every part of the run. It's great though. We've got a very cool community surrounding the Zelda games that comes together to kind of uplift and support each other. There's definitely competition there, but things are pretty friendly. And we all work together to kind of squeeze out as much time save as we can through either finding new tricks that were previously undiscovered or taking old tricks and making them better.
So I know we talked a little bit about just missing a trick is kind of a run ender. Are there any big run enders in any percent?
There's a lot, and that clip I did at the very beginning, 30 seconds in, is one of the most egregious.
Yeah.
Getting a second try is probably, if I was going through PP attempts, I probably would reset if I didn't get a second try. In this category, and we've got another one coming up here called Cog Skip. This is a very precise movement jump. It's not even a glitch. So we see this one even in glitchless categories. But what we're gonna do is, after we grab our Master Sword here, we're gonna slash these vines. Now normally you're supposed to activate that portal and leave through the door, but if we get a nice lineup on here, there's a specific patch of slope that we can just jump up onto the wall back here and kind of escape this room early. And as you can see, we're not meant to be up here, so the climbing collision's a bit weird. But now we are into the tunnel. So not only does that save a bunch of cutscenes and running, but it also gives us access to a treasure chest, which is up top outside here at the very peak of the island. And this chest has a very useful item that we are going to use and abuse to get through the tutorial area of the game as quickly as possible.
I am a big fan of any percent with very heavy glitches, but my favorite kind of tricks are those where it's just this isn't actually a glitch. This is just, we are really abusing the terrain here.
Yeah, it's just this is just a thing you can do. And what we're doing right here is, you'll see now I went from 3 wings to 26. That's a duplication glitch that is pretty infamous to earlier versions of this game. And I did not mention that we are running on version 1.0, which is launch day version. So this is down patch. You can get this by buying a cartridge and then factory resetting your Switch and then turning off auto updates to keep version 1.0. Because this is the version that's got the most jank, so to speak. It's got the most useful and fast glitches for the game. But that being said, since there are many versions of Tears of the Kingdom, this game was kind of infamous for Nintendo patching out all of our little toys that we were playing with. But you can run on any version of the game. There is a route and a leaderboard for you. Even if you're on current patch or even if you're on Nintendo Switch 2, those leaderboards will be opening soon. Now, here's another very reset heavy trick that if I miss, we're gonna keep going. But we'll try to hit this. And again, this is not a glitch. This is just a thing you can do. All right, so that's wing flip. Now, the reason we have to do that is because we're so high up, we are gonna take fall damage if we try to land on a wing. And the reason we need to land on a wing is because we're trying to avoid an autosave trigger. So for the next couple minutes, we're gonna be playing a game of The Floor is Lava. And the reason why we're doing this is because we have to go all the way down to the Temple of Time. You can kind of see on the left corner of the screen. There. We have to go and touch the door, which will activate the shrines so we can open them and get inside. However, it's really slow to get from the Temple of Time to the 3 shrines. So what we're going to try to do is, by staying on these wings, we prevent the game from updating Link's respawn position. So after we activate the quest marker, if we can successfully make it all the way down there without touching the ground, we can jump over the edge and void out down into the sky. And then it'll put us all the way back up by that wing chest where I jumped off before the cutscene. So that is what we're going for here. And this is probably the most punishing trick. If you miss it, it's not super difficult. You just got to be very careful to not touch the ground. It can lose like 3 or 4 minutes. But I've got a backup save in case that happens.
Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes in this category is like that is the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna fly our wing down here, and on the way we're gonna be getting a little preview of GTA 6. If it was in Zelda, there's a little robot guy down there. We're gonna have to ram into him with this wing to grab his sword and his shield, because those are gonna be useful for some glitches that we're gonna set up shortly. Now that is a glitch called sword shift dupe, and basically what happened is we turned the master sword into a rusty sword. Bit of a weird position here. There we go. That's fine. Okay. That should be good. Yeah, no, you just gotta be very careful, even if you have to eat a couple extra seconds of time loss positioning. Okay, we can save this with a frame perfect jump. I didn't get it, but I'll just load my backup save then. So yeah, there's a frame perfect jump, and it's technically only a 50-50 chance because you just have to mash and hope you get the right frame. So I got a little bit trolled by the wing placement at the end there, but in a run setting, that would definitely be a reset. But since we're up here, we're just gonna dive down here. And so you can see we're all the way back up here now. And that's the first shrine we're gonna be heading to. So normally you'd have to go like all the way from there, climb across the snow, climb up this cliff with like waterfall and stuff. It takes a very long time, and that's what we used to do in the early days before this trick was implemented. Now we're just gonna ride this wing gently down to the shrine. You'll notice we're only at 1 heart because we took damage from hitting the wing earlier, and we took damage from voiding out over the edge. And now we're in the cold, so in about 15 seconds we're gonna die of cold damage. But fortunately, we got to the shrine quick enough, so that's not gonna be a problem. So, inside the first shrine, this is Ascend. And this is where we're going to be setting up the bulk of our glitches for the run. Now the main glitch that we're going to be working with here is called overload. So there's a mechanic in this game where, you know, Link can equip weapons, right? But using a glitch called Zelda, we can stack additional weapons onto Link's model, like his body, more than the game is supposed to let you. And if we reach a certain amount of weapons, it'll put Link into an overload state where the game basically can't handle any more attachments onto his actor, or like his body, basically. So we're weighing Link down with so much stuff that the game doesn't know what to do with it, and it'll allow us to make use of some funny effects. We're going to be using overload to set up another glitch called arrow smuggle that will allow us to fly. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds on all this because it's like, I feel like you kind of have to get like a PhD in Zelda glitch science to really get all this stuff, but we're going to be setting that up here. And the menuing is pretty intense, so I'm going to stay quiet and count, make sure I get the correct number. Two, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so we reached our limit there, 10. Now we're gonna take out this guy as well. Okay, try that again. This is on a cycle here, so if we lose a little bit of time, it's not that bad, assuming we can get up here. Just barely made it. Okay, we're good to go.
Nice.
So, the way that little jump trick works, that's what we call arrow smuggle, is so we've overloaded the game so much that it won't display the bow in Link's hands, even though he's got it equipped. And when you're in that state, if you try to do a jump slash, it'll cancel the animation on the first frame, meaning you can pull out the bow and do another jump slash and kind of repeat that as many times as you want. Now, you know when you do a jump slash, Link gets a little bit of height, right? So you can chain that and just gain height repeatedly. And that was the slowest version of arrow flight that we're going to see. The rest of them are much faster because we'll be facing backwards. If you're familiar with speedruns, for some reason, a lot of games you can just move faster when you're going backwards. If you're familiar with like backwards long jumps in Super Mario 64, stuff like that. So we're done with our first shrine. Now we got 3 left to go before we get off the Great Sky Island area, from which we will be heading straight to the final boss with not much to our name. Now the other benefit of that overload trick that we did is these swords. Basically, Link is holding 10 swords at once right now, and they each have a hitbox, meaning we can do crazy damage. And that'll come into play later. But yeah, we've got to be extra careful for the rest of the run because if we die at any point, we're going to lose that arrow smuggle stage.
Oh, no.
And it becomes a bit of a pain to set up. Oh, and yeah, you can also cancel fall damage. I forgot to mention. Alright, so here's another little trick that we're going to get to show off here. We're going to throw this capsule down here. Perfect. So what that did is it landed on a machine below, which triggers this dialogue to give us the battery. Now we could just get it the normal way after we complete our next shrine, but by doing it here, it'll save time because the cutscene, if we were to get it later, is much longer. duplicate a bomb here. You gotta be really careful with these because they can and will explode in your face.
And I assume your health is kind of accounted for at all points in time.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful not to die. Those fall damage cancels are super tricky too because, well, they're easy to execute, but the game lags quite a bit. And if you get stuck in a lag frame and miss your input, it can be fatal. But just like that, we're already at our next shrine. And we're going to be using Overload. Another perk of Overload is we can basically freely duplicate weapons, bows, and shields to our heart's desire. So we're going to be... We only have one shield, but we're going to turn this one shield into 4. And we're going to be using that for some movement. Now, the fuse ability is also going to let us put those bombs onto our shield. And if you've played, you may know that you can do a shield jump and it'll kind of send you up into the air. Again, not a glitch, just a thing you can do. But we can use that in conjunction with our arrow smuggle glitch to give us a lot of kind of like starting speed for our flight. What's funny is, so we were just talking about the energy cell earlier. Actually, I'm going to duplicate a couple more. So, a new update just released for Tears of the Kingdom version 1.4 in preparation for the Switch 2 launch, right? We're just gonna shoot this chest down here. And a couple more bombs. But it turns out that there's actually, in that new update, Nintendo introduced a bug into the game that wasn't there in previous versions. And I just discovered this yesterday when I was messing around with the new version. One of those constructs, he'll just like refuse to give you the battery. Okay, how do I do this again? Oh wait. I think I did this wrong. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working out. We'll come up with a backup. So yeah, that duplication trick I was trying is quite new, and I messed it up a little bit, but we'll find a suitable backup. We'll just have to be very careful with our shield durability. Alright, so now to get to the third shrine, this is another part I'm gonna have to focus. This is one of the most difficult flight sections of the run. We're gonna do a lineup where we're gonna have to go super fast over this lake you can see on the map. And we're gonna have to gain a lot of height to get up to Ultra Hand because it's on like this tower thingy. So I'm gonna focus here for a sec. We're gonna buffer these jumps. This is what in speedrunning we call a normalized setup. It's like a set series of inputs you can do to get the same position every time. And that'll give us the perfect slope to launch on. Almost there. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, that one's tricky too because this game, especially version 1.0, is very laggy. And like we mentioned, trying to input those jumps on a lag frame can kill your flight and send you careening towards the ground, which is not ideal. But yeah, so this bug I was talking about is one of those constructs that gives you the battery. He gives you the dialogue as if he's going to give you the battery, and then he just doesn't give it to you. It's like they literally just forgot a line of code or something. It's really strange. I haven't seen anything like it in this game, where it's something that like a casual player could totally run into. And I tried to reach out to Nintendo support and be like, hey, I love glitches, but this one's actually kind of
This one's not great.
bad. Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's gonna be like a new update where they fix that.
Is it 100% guaranteed, or is it just like randomly happening?
It's 100% guaranteed to not give you the battery.
That's not
Like
great.
it's not a complete soft lock because there's 2 other places you can get it from.
Okay.
But still, like if you're a new player, you're just gonna be running around Gray Sky Island having no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna be able to progress. It's interesting to say the least.
Thankfully, we live in. I see Thor is mentioning Nintendo Hotline. Thankfully, we live in the age of the internet where like you could Google that and like figure it out, but it's still annoying.
Oh yeah, it kind of reminds me, definitely not on the same scale, but I don't know if any of you guys remember the big old Skyward Sword bug from back in the day, where it was like if you did one of the steps of a quest out of order, it would just completely soft lock your game from ever being completable.
I didn't know that was a thing. That kind of stuff gives me nightmares.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first times Nintendo ever released like an update for a game. They had to come up with like this whole separate Wii channel just to like patch hotfix into the game.
That's wild.
It's pretty great.
Especially if you don't know what's coming up. Like a lot of the movement tech in this is wild and just a treat to see for the first time.
It is. I've never watched a Tears of the Kingdom speedrun, and so it's like I'm like, what am I gonna see today? And it has actually been blowing me away. Like my face has been stuck to the screen this whole time watching you, and I'm like, what can I talk about? I don't know what to talk about, and I finally have something to say, and it's just how silly it looks.
Well, I hope you guys are all enjoying the run. And actually, after we get off, Gray Sky Island is the best part, where we get to the route kind of deviates. Because if you haven't played this game, there's a specific location where you go to trigger like the end game fights and like the boss rush and stuff. I'm gonna go play a little bit safe here and jump off the sand, so I can see the picture ability. But so. I don't know. Okay, you're watching a speedrun. You're succumbing yourself to spoilers. So don't be mad at me. But, so yeah, underneath the castle is where we need to go.
Oh, don't worry. I'm here for
normally
it.
you have to go through like... Normally you have to go through like this long winding tunnel filled with a bunch of like high-level endgame enemies. But we can just clip out of bounds and then clip back in bounds once we get there. Now the way you actually get there has kind of changed. So we used to clip out of bounds in a well in like kind of by the castle, and then we found out it was faster to clip out of bounds at the actual castle itself. But now we clip out of bounds using a very different method, which I won't spoil it, but we'll see once we get there in a few minutes. So we're back here to head up to our last shrine, and thankfully we don't have to do that clock skip again. We can just... look at that. And this little technique I'm doing here is called crouch throw sprinting. You guys might be familiar with whistle sprinting from Breath of the Wild. How you can like move at faster speeds while preserving your stamina. This is kind of like that, but not as good. And it's very mechanically intense to perform. So here we're gonna do a jump off the staircase there to kind of skip these waterfall puzzles. And if we're fast enough, we can get the cycle at the end. Creep and drop and recall. Perfect. Now, this, if you guys are familiar with speedruns, you might know that a lot of speedruns are subject to RNG, or random elements that the game determines differently from playthrough to playthrough. And one good thing about Tears of the Kingdom runs is they're pretty RNG free, except for this one part. We're gonna have to scan for a gem. You might know that gems in these games are like little mini elemental nukes that we can use to take down some of the enemies later on. That's perfect. So we're gonna have to kind of run the slot machine here for a second. We want either a ruby or a topaz, and that's about a 26% chance to get one of the two. This isn't required. You can get a guaranteed drop. It's just about 30-40 seconds slower. There's a topaz, perfect. So slightly worse than average RNG, but nothing too bad. My personal worst is like 24. So if you have a 26% chance and it takes you 24 tries to get the hit, you guys can do the math on how bad my luck is.
That's not great.
It's really not.
I don't know about you. That's the kind of RNG that if I got, I would take it as a sign that I'm playing something else for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna log off. We're gonna play like Fortnite or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Gonna go play Apex and watch anime. See y'all.
Yeah.
Look
Or I
at her
guess-
fly, chat. Look at her fly.
Okay, evasive maneuvers here. We're good. I'm a little bit worried about the durability on my sword, but we should be okay. I might grab a backup weapon just in case. Okay, so now we've got our heart container, and we're gonna be finishing Gray Sky Island and heading straight to the end game. And we're going to enlist the help of a very friendly deer to clip out of bounds and get underneath the world. So I guess I can go ahead and explain what exactly that is on our way there. So another perk of Overload is if you try to interact with a mountable object, so think like horses, deer, any animal you can ride, like the steering sticks in this game, the telescope at Lookout Landing is a mountable device, things like that. It'll ignore collision, you'll just clip right through it. So since we are overloaded, we can clip out of bounds by mounting a deer. And we're just gonna plummet from the sky and clip out of bounds. There's really nothing else to say about that. You'll just have to watch here. Now I'm gonna focus up for this part because the movement can be a bit tricky. Now luckily our dear friend here is always in a consistent spot, so we know exactly where to go to find him. And we're not even gonna leave a dive, we're just gonna dive straight onto his back. A bit of bounds. And little, where's he? Target acquired. He's not gonna like this, he's gonna scream a bit. But just like that, we are now out of bounds. Now we're going down to the depths, we're gonna get this quite hefty load. I imagine on Switch 2, this is not going to be nearly as bad.
I think it's pretty impressive that you can nail that out of the sky like that.
We just watched you break the game.
And now we can duplicate these topaz midair.
You definitely got off starter
pretty
island
snazzy
faster
trick.
than it took me to get off it, which was 4 hours.
4 hours.
I was up there exploring.
You could complete the entire main story of this game. Speedrunning. Okay, now let's hope we're on course, because my angle was a bit off initially. It's still a bit off. We can redirect here. So we're heading right down there. Yeah, I fell off the wing and had to readjust. Also, I need a couple more weights. So you can see below us down there is the army platform that we'll be clipping into.
Thor, as a game dev, how does it make you feel to see this?
Bring that to- come on, down here. Oh, I went a bit too far. A bit dark down here. Let's see if we can get this clear. Yeah, perfect. The shield durability was really tight. I messed up the duplication glitch, so I only have 1. I'm supposed to have 4, but we made it work. Now, normally you can just land straight there. I'm gonna land on this platform here to give me a nice little autosave. Because otherwise, if I die at any point here, I have to go all the way back up to Great Sky Island.
Oh no.
Which is a lot of time loss. Yeah, so now we can just start pelting these guys with our nukes. And we're using recall to cancel the throw animation to get out these hits faster. Which not only saves time, but it's very helpful like crowd control. So you may know that there's army we have to fight, and then there's a 6-part boss rush that we'll be skipping by clipping out of bounds. And then there's the Ganondorf fight, which is quite difficult. But we're gonna be kind of scavenging some weapons from these army fights here in order to take him down. And I'm gonna grab a couple extra just in case my durability runs out. These guys are super scary in their movement patterns. I definitely play it safe here. I also kind of need to back up to get my next drop. I had one escape here. So I'm timing these pickups with when the last body explodes, because that'll give us an instant load into the next phase. Otherwise, we have to run around for anywhere from like 3 to 10 seconds waiting for the load. It can be kind of cumbersome.
Which it might be a little shorter on the Switch too. Which I think we kind of mentioned it. You are playing on the Switch 1 because it's been a little difficult to get some Switch 2s. But I believe I know a pretty decent place where you can get some Switch 2s, which is going to be Ant Online, the go-to destination for all things gaming and technology. You can keep up to date with them on all of their social media accounts. Also, you can join the gaming community every day here on Twitch. I mean, this is their Twitch channel, where they share the best deals and hottest gaming news. You can also go to antonline.com/community to stay connected.
We'll need Cloud to come back so we can see what this is like how fast you can do this on the Switch 2, and if there's any differences. Because with earlier we were able to actually feel it, and see the difference.
I'm gonna grab just a couple backup things here in case we run into trouble. But so now you see we have to fight Colbera, but we don't actually have to fight any of the 6 bosses. So in this game, if you don't complete the dungeons, you have to fight them at the end of the game here, but we're just gonna skip them by clicking out of bounds.
on Switch 2, the deer is slightly to the left.
Oh no.
That's gonna throw me off. I'm gonna go splat on the ground first time I try. Alright, so that's our first clip. Get a second one just in case. So here we have to clip out of bounds and then clip back in bounds. I'm looking for a specific spot on the floor. Nice. That lineup is pretty tough. You have to kind of use the slope of the ceiling to redirect you. So now we're into the Ganondorf fight, and we're going to see the power of, like I mentioned, Link is holding 10 swords in his hand at once, all with his strong fuse part. So we can just take down Ganon in 6 hits. It's pretty fun.
That was a lot of damage. I assume that's normally a much longer fight.
Yeah. Okay, and it looks like our sword is going to break a bit early here, so we're going to have to improvise and get a little flashy for the third phase. But we'll make it work. That's another thing that's kind of more punishing about this new route is the sword durability is really tight. You can only afford to lose like 1 durability, and I think I used 2. So my sword's going to break a hit early, but we should be okay. Bait him into a dodge and read his attack. And then counter. Yeah, it broke a bit early, but we can just keep this here. Alright. Bad man down. So, you saw that fight was pretty simple. But the next section coming up here, which is the Demon Dragon battle. I remember in my casual playthrough, it really felt kind of more like an interactive cutscene, just kind of a cinematic of diving around with the light dragon and taking down this beast. But in the any percent speedrun, you may have noticed that we never got the paraglider. We just went straight from the sky all the way down to the depths. So because of that, we're going to have to perform some pretty tricky and technical movement and work on a very tight cycle of how the 2 dragons move in relation with each other to take out the 4 weak points as quickly as possible and then get to the last one. In longer categories, you have access to rockets and you can just rocket around. It's not as difficult, but this is arguably the hardest part of the run after everything we've been through. And it's right at the very end. So you can see why this category is so tough.
Yeah, it's so exciting to watch. I think you've executed it so well and perfectly. Was there ever a moment during this that you're like, man, I messed it up? But I feel like you've done it right all the way up to now.
It's been all right. I did have to load my backup save because I lost the 50-50 on the frame perfect jump and had to, I accidentally touched the ground. But here we go. I'll try to explain as best as I can as we go, but I think it's better to just show rather than tell kind of what we're doing here. But super cinematic. I love the visuals here. I love the music. Very, very fun end to the run. As challenging as it is. should be a good cycle. Looks pretty good. If anything, that was a little too fast. We're gonna have to kind of stall for a second on this next part. Just a little bit more. Okay, another tricky part coming up here. Didn't work there. Alright, now we're on our way to the last eye. This is kind of the moment of truth if we're gonna get the fast ending or if we're gonna lose 40 seconds.
Oh,
So
no.
hopefully we were quick enough. Maybe. Might have been good. We just barely missed it. We were like a second off. Okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with getting to enjoy a little bit more of the cinematic here. But this is, we are getting to the end of the speedrun. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little showcase here.
This is wild. You're early. I mean, like you got 6 minutes to beat him.
It is always fantastic to see just how, how much you can break this game open.
Yeah, chat and drop your emotes. Let Cloud know we're here. We're cheering.
So for the final strike, there's one more piece of tech that we're gonna have to encounter. If you are on his head at the end, the game takes 8 extra seconds to reposition you. So we're gonna try to go for a little flashy. There we go. A midair jump slash. And that should be
Nice.
good. Yeah, we got it. All right. A nice little 8-second time save there. But yeah, this run's pretty crazy, and there's actually 3 or 4 runners right now in contention for world record, kind of grinding for the very first sub 39-minute run. We've got about 45 seconds left. Our last order of business is to dive down and catch the princess, and time is going to end when we hold hands with Zelda. Such a romantic
We
ending.
have to. We just
I love
have
it.
to.
But yeah, the Switch 2 just came out, and a lot of these glitches don't work on newer versions of the game, or they take a lot longer to perform. So the Switch 2 any percent run is going to look quite a bit different. But I definitely recommend checking out some of those runs in any category of this game.
What do you think, chat? Would you be able to recreate going from Starter Island all the way to this? I just watching you go through the out of bounds was it was black. How did you know where to go?
You kind of have to initially position yourself before it gets black, but I fell off the wing and had to readjust, so I was a bit off angle and we had to course correct, which is unfortunate, but we got through it pretty cleanly. But yeah, and that is Tears of the Kingdom
Oh,
80%
she did
speedrun.
it!
GG.
Cloud did it!
GG.
And was it 46 minutes? That's not bad.
You did it early too.
what's
Your
up?
goal is 50 minutes, but you did it way earlier. Than 46.
We have 4
What's
extra
your
minutes
best
to,
time?
yeah. My personal best is 43 for this category. This also isn't really my main category though. I did mention like for this game I tend to prefer the longer categories. But yeah. A 43 puts me around like 15th place or something. So there's definitely some very talented runners out there that if you want to see any percent at the top level, definitely go check out some of those guys.
I feel so great today. I watched the entire game in one sitting. I'm caught up. I'm good to go.
That was nuts. That was really cool.
But yeah. Again, I'm Cloud, twitch.tv/CLOUDT. I am currently I've been actually running Breath of the Wild for the past few months. I took a little break to come back for today's showcase, but I'm working on Breath of the Wild All Dungeons, which is the speedrun where you beat all the divine beasts and then beat the game as fast as possible. I'm going to be showing off that run at Zeldathon next week, so be sure to tune in for that. And then afterwards, I will be coming back to Tears of the Kingdom to grind for world record in some of the longer categories. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, stop on by. We'd love to see you. And thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on. Definitely give Cloud a follow and go watch the fantastic Zelda speedruns that Cloud puts on. Thank you so much for being here for showcasing Tears of the Kingdom. I almost said Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom. Unfortunately on the Switch 1, but there is a Switch 2 port, so people can enjoy it on the Switch 2. And yeah, we've been celebrating the Switch 2 release here with Ant Online. Ant Online, what do y'all have to say here?
First off, the shows were really great. We had so much fun watching. I know we had such a small time window to get through these speedruns, but like, it was amazing. It was fun to watch. I loved both of the game categories. Pokemon gave me a blast from the past. I've never played through Tears of the Kingdom all the way through, so that was like, I know the ending now. I had no idea Ganon was a dragon. Did you?
I am both, like I mentioned it in chat, as a game developer and a game designer. My first thing I have to say is, Cloud, never play any games that I've ever worked on, and never play any multiplayer games that I work on, because you will break it in 1,000 times away. And so I was inside, I was mauling and dying, but as a viewer, I loved every second of it, because it's just like, no, yep, that's gonna work. And so it was awesome. It was awesome to see. And like I said, I have such a love for Legend of Zelda. Just so seeing it in 46 minutes rather, that was so awesome. It was really good time. Really good time. I enjoyed it. And just even the backwards jumping and just all the mechanical input to do that. I'm just like, yeah, I'm too old to learn how to do that for sure. I'm washed up. That's awesome. That is awesome to see, for sure.
It was really interesting to see how I mean, the thing about Tears of the Kingdom is it already felt like a sandbox where you have unlimited tools to make whatever you want, and I feel like that was the dev's goal. It really went with engineers. Like, people that are aspiring engineers love that game. But people who want to fly on a broken arrow.
that goes back to my point, right? We have actually a couple devs in the chat right now. And so it's like, we gave you all these cool tools. You can make mechs and you can do this. They're like, no. I want to jump on a bow and arrow backwards and break the level. That's what we want to do as speedrunners. And we're like, cool. As developers, we're like, cool. We're going to go cry now. That's awesome. I'm glad you found out how to break your collision. So that's awesome. Whether it was the 10 weapons and then destroying Ganon in like 6 hits, that was really cool to see. That was one of my favorite moments. Getting through the different collisions by making your actor just lose it, that was pretty cool. That was.
There's a lot of rewatch ability. I know the word replayability, but rewatchability. As Cloud said, there were a few things that were missed. Had to reset a save. Had to when fighting the dragon, the demon Ganon missed something, right? And it was like, well, you guys get a flash cutscene anyways, and that it's like, wait, you could have done better. Like, it would have been really awesome to rewatch it. So I feel like, now that I know what I'm looking for, I'll be sitting there on the edge of my seat being like, oh, you can do it. So it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, speaking of that, it's nice to see, like, this is our first primer into Legend of Zelda any %. And so knowing now where that frame perfect jump off of the fish, right? I was like, oh, like, I love it when a speedrunner shares, like, oh, this is about to be really hard. And the chat's kind of like, ah, first try, baby, let's go.
I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, be like, are you really gonna land on that deer? Like, how do you know where that deer is?
And how many times do you have to like do that until you're like, yep, that's the deer. That's the person. It's that's good. I'd be so mad if I had to work for Nintendo. They'd be like, yeah, Thor, you're gonna have to move that deer. They seem to be breaking the whole entire game. And I'm like, what's the deer ever do to you people? Like, come on. So I don't know. I 10 out of 10 would watch again. In fact, I will. I want to see.
I loved it. And I think what you're saying right now, Snark, is like, yes, I should play it. And yes, I should get a Nintendo Switch 2 and feel how good it feels to play. Because I haven't even finished it. So that gives me a reason to get the Nintendo Switch 2 and play Tears of the Kingdom. So I have something to aspire for.
And what's the best place to go get Switch 2s at?
Here on antonline.com/Switch2. Or just !Switch2 in chat. I simplified it for you. But if you guys haven't got your console, we are here to tell you because we have to end the stream today. Unfortunately, it is the end. Thank you for joining me, Thor. Thank you, Church, so much for being an amazing host with Games Done Quick. And if you guys haven't gotten your Switches, there will be a drop in exactly 10 minutes on Ant Online.
There we go. I mean, you put the clock on and go over to Ant Online, one-stop shop place for all things tech and technology and gaming, baby. There we go. It's been a good time. Ant Online, Games Done Quick, coming together, making a good show. This has been a great. This has been a dream come true for me.
And if you enjoyed the show, we do stream every single day on twitch.tv/AntOnline. Big shout out to Games Done Quick for putting this production together, for putting the show together. We're simply here as your hosts on Ant Online, but it was really Games Done Quick that made this magic happen. So big shout out to them. And thank you once again, Church, for being an amazing host.
And yeah, thank you for having us here, for partnering with us and allowing us to showcase some speedruns on your channel. It's been awesome to be here and really happy working with y'all.
Thank you again. And I know everyone has got things to do. The drop, once again, is going to be in 14 minutes. So tune in if you're trying to collect a Switch 2 here on Ant Online. But it is time. It is time to roll out.
Just say goodbye. We'll see you in another 8 years for Switch 3, everybody. Oh, I tease. Yeah, make sure you're tuned into the socials on Ant Online, especially Twitter. Happen to know the person who's running that Twitter behind the scenes, and they are keeping everybody abreast of the situation with every time they get more Switch 2s in. And it's always good to keep abreast of the situation for sure. Heck yeah.
Don't forget, every single day there is a deal of the day. A deal of the day every day on the tech and your favorite games. That's what we're here for, is to share that with you.
All right. Well, there we have it.
All right, we're all done.
Get out of here. We're done.
Have a great night, everyone.